Hi, this is Leslie. Today I'm going to share with you a tutorial on the Neverending card. The decoration of the cards is really quite simple, so I'm going to focus on just showing you how to cut, measure, glue and fold the card and leave the decoration just to you. This card has only got the front decorated, but as you'll see, the movement just goes on and it's never ending. So I'll show you how to make the basic card with the basic measurements, get it all together, and then you can go from there and keep yourself just a basic template. So I'm going to give you the measurements in both metric and imperial. I prefer to work in inches in imperial. You can do either. For today we'll just focus on one measurement for the imperial and one for the metric. You can scale up or down to suit yourself later on. So I'll be making a 6-inch square card. If you want to make it in metric, that will be a 15 centimetre card. To start off, you're going to need 4 pieces of card, and they all need to be cut into 3 inches by 6 inches, exactly the same. In metric, that will be 15 centimetres by 7.5 centimetres, and it's roughly the same size as the card we're making today. The next thing you're going to do is take each card in turn and you're going to score it. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Up trimmer to score, but you can use your scoreboard. This really makes it quite easy. So on the inches, you're going to place your card one at a time on here horizontally, not skew width as after, and you're going to lay it on so that you can score at 1.5 inches. If you're doing the metric, you're going to score at 3.75 centimetres. So I'm going to score one end, turn it round and score exactly the same at the other end. You're going to do that on all 4 pieces. So that's 1.5 inches and 1.5 inches along the 6-inch side. If it's metric, it is 3.75 centimetres and 3.75 centimetres, sorry about that, along the 15 centimetre side. So hopefully that's all clear, but there is a PDF to go along with this. When you've done all 4 of them, you need to make sure that you actually burnish the folds. That is, that you make sure that they're nice and folded very firmly. Each piece you're going to fold one way and then you're going to fold it the other to make sure that your cards are bendy in each direction. So let's get the rest done. Oops, fingers and thumbs. So I'm hoping that you can easily understand what I'm saying to you and not getting a lot of rustle from the card here. Now the main thing to remember with these cards, is to measure and score accurately. You may find with me dithering on the camera that I've gone a little bit off, but this is for really just to show you what to do, so I'm not too worried. And the final one. It's really, and they're quite quick cards to do, and you can fuss about with decorating later on, but this is what you need to concentrate on. So there we have. They're all very flexible. My flexible friends. Do you remember that advert? Okay, so now what you're going to do is take 2 pieces, you're going to lay them vertically and you're just going to push them to one side. We'll be working on those in a moment. Take one of the other pieces, lay it horizontally, Now you just need a little bit of measurement here. I'm using the inches side of my grid sheet, which has measurements on it, makes life a little bit simpler. I do suggest you use a ruler so that you get a straight line, so that really is best if you can. And although this is, as I said, it's just to show you what to do, I am going to be using it in pen so that you can actually see. I've found a pencil. So I want to do it so that you can see what I'm doing and leave a permanent mark. So what you need to do now is you need to mark off 1/4 of an inch down. That will be, if you're doing metric, about 3/4, 0.75 of a centimetre. And you need to draw a line. See, I can use my lines on my grid sheet to draw my line. And you're going to mark it along to your score line. And you're going to do the same at the other end. By doing this, you'll only be putting your glue in the areas you really want it. Okay, this is where your glue will go. Now I suggest you use glue rather than tape because it is better at holding, and the whole purpose of this card is to be folded and refolded, and you really don't want it to come apart. So once you've done that one, you need to do the second one. So, and the grid sheet takes all the measuring out of it, so makes it a little bit easier and quicker. Okay, so this is where your glue is going again. Okay, so we've got 2 of them now. We've got the 2 put aside and we've got the 2 measured out for our glue. So let's start with the first glue one. Take your glue and put it in the area you've just marked off on both sides. Okay, now we're going to go back to those 2 pieces of card that we had earlier. Now I need to stand up to do this because I need to look over the cardstock. I'm flipping the glued card over and I'm putting the top left corner to line up with the top left corner of the card that I had set to one side. And the top right corner is going to be lined up with the other piece on the other side. So as you can see there, whoops, slightly up. As you can see there, they were the 2 that I'd set aside, laying vertically, and this is the one I've just glued on top. And you just need to let that just settle for a minute and glue firmly. What you're going to do now is you're going to take the other piece and you're going to put the glue in the areas again. You're going to flip it over and you're going to glue it down in the bottom left and bottom right corners, like so. So that our 2 vertical pieces are then hidden by the 2 horizontal pieces. Now if you've done it correctly, it should all line up. But you know, sometimes we make a few mistakes and mostly it can be rectified, but it is a good idea to concentrate on your measuring and on your cutting because it will make it so much easier for you. So I'm just going to lay that down and line that up and lay that down and line that one up. And they should line up properly. So there you go. Whoops, I think I'm slightly out on that side. I'm not going to worry for a minute. So they should line up properly. So you've got your 2 horizontal pieces underneath, vertical pieces underneath, and your 2 horizontal pieces on top. And you just need to give that a minute to glue firmly. Okay, now when we start to fold, it's going to be a little bit awkward at first. It's not, the card is not going to really like it because it's not been handled very much. But the more you handle the card, the better the flexibility will become. So now we're going to make sure that all our score lines are well and truly scored. So we're going to flip this open, and as you can see, it's a little bit ungainly, a bit like Bambi finding its legs. So we're going to take our bone folder and we're going to burnish those lines. Okay. I actually find it easier to do with my nail. Okay, so that's the first one. Now you're going to open it and go to the next layer, and you're going to do exactly the same. So you're going to and then you will go to the next layer, which, as you can see, is probably quite easy. It's already sort of falling into place, and then into the final layer again. Now, the more you use this card, the more it will become flexible and it won't resist. And each time you use it, you'll kind of press down on your folds until the folds become very flat. All you need to do now is to decorate. Now, you can just put one layer of decoration on, or you could put maybe some DSP and then mount it on some other cardstock, something coordinating. You can decide on how wide you want your borders around each piece. I do suggest that you make the allowance each side the same so that it looks quite balanced when you've finished. I have made this card, look, you can see I'm a bit out on my measuring there, that's not very good. I have made this card in tiny small cards, like so, maybe about 3 inches across, maybe not even that large. I've also made a 12-inch card, and that was, well, that definitely was like a Bambi, but it did stand up. And I've also decorated one of them where I put a calendar across each panel, so I had the 12 months of the year on the calendar, and it stood up in like an H. When you scanned it up, it stood up like an H. So that was quite useful. I've recently made my son a card using the Bubble Over stamp set, and I will put a picture of that on here at the end so you can see exactly what I did. But as you can see, that's really simple. Do be a little bit sharper with your measurements and your folding than I was. So long as you take notice of your measurement and your folding and that little bit of area where you glue, then burnish all the edges, you'll be fine. It's really fun to make. I hope you've enjoyed doing it, and I hope it all makes sense. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.